Good morning, y'all. Happy 4th of July. I don't know when y'all see this, but this is 4th of July for us. And I am trying to get out before the heat comes, before the sun comes. I think Justin just woke up, Abel just woke up, but we're messy hair and don't care over here. But today on my list is to make pesto. I plant enough basil and grow enough basil to make pesto for the year, and I've been slacking on that. So it's going to be a pesto kind of day. But since I'm coming out here to harvest, I figured I'd show y'all our beginning of July garden. July is when a lot of people just kind of give up. It gets toasty, you know, watering is a necessity. We've had to rip out some stuff. Our first round of cucumbers we've ripped out. It was on this trellis and I've got to weed it. I've already got our second round of cucumbers going, and I'll show you what we got growing still. I have some dill that's I'm letting go to seed. First year mullein. I've got 2 mullein plants first year, so next year we'll be able to harvest that. Got some lavender. I think this is an English lavender. And then this well, there's our okra all along this way. Can't say I'll do that again. I don't think it gets enough sun, even though the sun comes this way. We have a bunch of trees on the back of the property, and I don't think it's actually getting enough sun. Some of them look great, some of them just look puny. So this is our tomatoes. We have had some splitting, I guess, with it being so hot and watering. You know, just little sunflowers here and there. You can tell I've got basil. I haven't really been the best at even pruning it, so it is kind of long and lanky. Some more dill I've let go to seed. More tomatoes. Here is our next batch of cucumbers, and I definitely need to get out here and weed. On this side of the trellis, I've got a bunch of holy basil and then our sweet 100 tomatoes. On this side, we've got more tomatoes. I don't know what variety these are, but they have produced. But she's looking wild, y'all. I've got some wild lettuce. My hyssop has done really good this year. Bees are loving it. I need to stay with my basket. I will have to walk all the way back over here. It has just been a busy season of life right now. And I guess to touch on that, you know, we do all of this plus still work. And this is not our full-time job, although I would love it to be. I am still working as a hygienist, and I've actually went down part-time at my office because I have started a new endeavor. Well, I guess new-ish at this point, but I got my real estate license, so I am now helping other people find their homestead, which is super exciting. You know, we also have our booth in the shop, at a local shop here in town that I make salves and teas and stuff for. And we're actually doing our first, it's called Market in the Park. It's kind of like a vendor market. So we'll see how that goes. I feel like we've constantly got something going on, which is great. I like to stay busy. My mom actually came over yesterday and told me, like, commented on how busy we are. And I guess I never, like, thought about it. But I guess I do like to stay busy. That's just kind of my, I don't know. I don't like to scroll on the phone, you know, like over and over, like a lot of people do. I mean, if that's your jam, go for it. But I like to be productive. But back here, I've got bush beans, ginger, some peppers, some zucchini, obviously elderberry, for our elderberry syrup. So, I guess getting back to the busy part, I think everybody is essentially busy. I think it's just being busy with what you enjoy or what you like to do. I guess since ours is so, we have so many different things going on, if that makes sense. It appears that we're maybe more busy, but I've never been one to like just sit on my phone for hours. Or I do love watching YouTube, and I do love a good movie. These green beans are hanging on a little bit longer. I think it's because they get more shade with this fence back here. But see, I told y'all this was a basil harvest. Not one sprig of basil up in here. But yes, there is a very fine line being busy and wearing yourself smooth out. I have done that before. It's not a great thing. Your body kind of goes into shutdown, inflammation mode. So you do have to be careful. Although I like being busy, I have to tell myself slow down a little bit. Okay, so I had my brokerage over, I guess it was 2 weeks ago now, and they commented on how bushy my basil was. And I guess, you know, if you just garden, you kind of like just do stuff and you don't think, you know, there's a reason for that. I guess it just comes second nature. So I'm going to show y'all how I get my basil super bushy and prevent it from kind of going to seed. However, I have not been great, and I do have some seeds on here, but we're taking care of that today. You know, a plant, its purpose is to produce offspring, I guess is what you would call it, say. It is to reproduce itself. So there are going to be seeds. That's just the cycle of life of a plant. But in order to keep it in the vegetative state, you need to pluck off the flowering part. And I start by doing that when they're little bitty and they start to bush out because it forms shoots. You can see, I kind of call this the armpit of the plant. You can see there's two little shoots coming right here, and then one in the middle. I have already plucked this one, so that's why it has another stalk growing in the middle. So in order to keep this plant in the vegetative state and not go into the flowering state, you want to pluck that off. And I am going to do a heavy prune because these are starting to go to seed, and I've got to get cracking on basil, or on pesto. Look like I'm murdering this plant. And if y'all are interested in how we preserve our pesto, we do have a website, thehagenhomestead.com, and I kind of go into more detail on how I preserve it so that we can save a year's supply. Because all of the pesto in the grocery store has horrible oils. I need another basket. Okay, so you can see the difference. This is the one I just pruned. This is the one I'm about to prune. And that's what I got so far. Now, this may look like a lot, but you actually need a lot of basil to make pesto. That's why it's not really like super cost effective to make your own if you're buying basil. Yeah, and I had to catch a rooster. That was scary. I already did. What you gonna do with all these habaneros? I got some dehydrating.
Make habanero honey.
You can throw them in one of those baskets over there. It's already hot. I don't have my watch on, but it's not even 8 o'clock and I'm already sweating. So we had poor germination with peppers this year. Last year we did really good with peppers. Did not do good on tomatoes last year, but did great on tomatoes this year. Tonight, when it is cooler, I'm gonna come out and plant more peppers. We still have time. We need shishitos in our life desperately. This is the bed that I'm gonna weed. We had dragon tongues in here. Those have since gone bye-bye. I'm gonna come in here and weed tonight, but this bed is full of ants, so I'm gonna have to prepare myself. You can really see the tomato wall right there. And then we bought starts for our bell peppers. These are habaneros. Serranos. We've actually had a pretty good harvest off serranos. This is where our garlic was. Oh, I should have put my hair up. We had that snow, and the weirdest thing, tell me if you've ever seen this. So we planted it, you know, mulched it real good, and it bulbed underneath the ground, and it grew, and then it bulbed above ground and then grew. The only thing I can think of, and what Justin can think of, is that the cold weather, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. So all that was chicken food. Our whole garden harvest was just ruined. Yeah, but pretty weird to see. It's our neglected bed. It's got various Abel's tomatoes that he planted. Not pruned very well. We've just kind of let it go. I did have calendula. I did have California poppy. I had the best harvest of California poppy this year. I planted it really early. I think that's why. Strawberry bed is completely overtaken with weeds. This is where a lot of people call it quits and throw in the towel with the garden, because it is hot and it's a mess. But I mean, you can still grow a lot of food. I'm tempted to plant more bush beans. Justin says no, we've put away bush beans. He said he's kind of done with them. But I think that's a wrap for today. If y'all want the pesto recipe and how to preserve it, go to thehagenhomestead.com. I'll catch you later. I'm gonna go cool off and start making some pesto. Bye.